Back on the Domino's post-game report as Carson-Newman falls at University Stadium to the West Georgia Wolves by a final score of 38-7. I'm Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. Mike, this is a weird one. It's a 31-point loss, but yet from where you were a year ago, a lot of steps forward on the road at a top 10 team. What did you see out of this group that you liked? What did you see out of this group that definitely needs some improvement when Franklin Pierce comes to town?
You know, I think one of the big things, I just talked to them in the locker room, is when I first got back here in 2009. It kind of is different, but it's similar when we went to North Alabama and lost that year. And, you know, left there feeling like, all right, man, we really believe we got a good football team, and there's some things that we had to do to kind of get where we needed to be.
Yeah.
And so, you know, over the course of the season, we continue to get better, and we go beat North Alabama down there, second round of the playoffs, and a game nobody expects you to win. I think this team's similar in a sense of, I think they have that attitude. I think they have that mentality to where, we go back, we put this one on the big screen and go look at it. They can already identify the mistakes that they made that we need to get correct going into the Franklin Pierce game. So it's cool when you're walking off the field and they know what needs to happen. And, it makes it hopefully a lot easier to get it fixed because, they have a concept of what's going
on. It's hard to judge a game like this because what's a fair expectation when you're facing an operator the caliber of Harrison Frost? And for the first quarter, your defense felt like had them on their heels. And then Harrison Frost got going, and 5 out of 6 drives ended in touchdowns. How much of that is on Carson-Newman? How much of that is on a West Georgia team that is when you talked to the staff last year, they thought this was their year to compete for a national championship.
Yep, and I think I think it is for them. I mean, they've got an older group that's been together, and I think it is for them. I think it's something that they should be driving for right now. And so for us to be able to get on the field at that caliber and see where we're at, I think it's a big plus for us. The thing that they do, and Dean's team's always done it well. They just kind of pitch and catch, and then they'll make a couple big plays on you. For us, that's talking to guys at halftime, we have to contest those throws. We have to be combative. We have to compete, and kind of take that stuff away from them, force them to have to do a little bit more work to get things going.
It's hard to judge a team for Carson-Newman running the ball because of the video game numbers that the true split-back veer option put up, but 175 yards on the ground, on the road, given what this offense looks like, that feels like a potential strong point moving forward.
But the biggest thing there is what I talked to Coach personally. It's got to be consistent.
Yeah.
We've got to move the chains consistently. We hit in spurts, and then there are points in times to where we don't move the chains, and we're 3 and out and get them back on the field. And so we've got to find a groove to where we can consistently move the chains to get back to some of those veer numbers with the running game. That's something that you've got to be able to run the football to be successful in this league.
Ivan Corbin dinged up, but showed some signs of brilliance. Zane Whitson, for a redshirt freshman in his first collegiate action, thrust in as a second stringer to pretty significant action. Held up well. What did you see from your quarterback play tonight?
Ivan comes in early. He gets nicked up, but I thought, he did a good job. He's a guy that can do some things with his feet. He's got really good speed, and he's athletic. He's played the game for a while, and, he gets dinged up. Zane Whitson's a guy we've got all the confidence in the world. You watch him come in. He commands the offense. So we feel like we've got 2 guys there that we can be competitive with.
You get this one. Top 10 team, probably one of the toughest teams you'll face this year. You come back home, Franklin Pierce. How do you learn from this one with a first-time opponent and the Ravens coming to town 10 days from now?
Franklin Pierce has got a good football team. I mean, they got a running back that I think is a big-time NFL prospect. And so I think, tonight is something that we'll be able to go and look and see, from run fits and so forth, the things that we need to do to kind of be able to, keep him contained. But more than anything, it's going back and watching the mistakes that we made, figuring out, the little increments things that we can do to get better. You want to do it with the score the opposite of where it was, but we got a couple guys on the field, to where we can get them on video in a game to kind of see what's going on. It's one thing with coaching. A lot of times you can get comfortable with certain kids and you still want to look at other kids on the field. But, you know, you kind of got that groove you're stuck in that you trust for a little while. So to be able to throw a couple guys out there to see, you know, how they compete in the game, you know, like a freshman Lily, he comes, like I think he led us on kick returns, and a couple of those guys to kind of, you know, go ahead and get them in a game and get them on video to where we can try to, you know, really dial in like what we need to get done.
Yeah, one thing that kind of, I don't know that it would have fully turned the outcome of the game, but you had some moments that the one area that was unfortunately reminiscent of last year, unlucky. Jelon Walton has a pick literally in his stomach, and it just ejects. You trade a surefire pick six for a score down at the end of the half, and then the back judge gets in Braxton Westfield's way on what is a touchdown. You turn again. I don't know that it makes the difference in a win, but versus a loss. But you have some moments that this one didn't feel like a 31-point loss.
Yeah, I mean, like those things don't help, but we can identify the plays that, you know, give you a chance, keep you in the game. You know, you in this game in the fourth quarter, and you don't know what happens, but you know, that's not what we did tonight. We got to figure out a way to make those plays. That's why our theme is be the one. You know, we've got to have somebody step up and make that play Jelon Walton didn't make. You know, we've got to go solidify those plays and get things done so we can win football games.
All right, Mike Clowney, thanks for the time. We'll talk to you next week against the Ravens.
Looking forward to it.
That's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. Domino's postgame report rolls on with player interviews when we come back after these messages on the Eagle Sports Network.
Okay.